concert tonight. It's probably not a surprise that I listen to a lot of music, a lot of band music. I'm always on the hunt for something to program for our students. And, you know, I listen year-round. I'm always getting recommended stuff, so I'm listening to things. And, you know, like I already have next year's program for the winter and the spring done. Like I'm on top of that because I listen so much. But I keep hearing things, and I'm like, ooh, that would fit this group really, really well. Ooh, that would challenge this group really, really well. And here's another one. And here's another one. And then I had 5 songs, and I was like, oh boy, that's a lot. I don't know if we're ready for 5. These students proved me wrong time and time again. They sound absolutely incredible, and 5 songs was like a piece of cake to them. Can we give them another round of applause? They sound. We got to the point where about like 2 months ago, I hadn't given out the last song yet. And I kept thinking about it, and I was like, no, I actually think this is too easy. Like these kids are flying through the music. So I started listening more, started looking through the library, and I found one last tune. And I was like, this might be a reach. Especially in 2 months, can we put it together? Well, proven wrong once again. If you thought they sounded good so far, just you wait until you hear this last one. Thank you so much for supporting them in what they do on the stage. It is not easy, and it wouldn't be possible without your support. You've probably seen the program, we've got lots of summer band opportunities for them to sign up for. There's lots of ways for you to be involved. Please email the Palisades Band Association email. It's listed in your program. Please be involved, because what these students are doing is truly remarkable, and it would not happen without your support. So with all that being said, I'd like to welcome up Taylor to come read about our last piece, Zigzag.
Hi, my name is Taylor, and your last piece of tonight's concert is John Logan's exciting Zigzag. Zigzag is definitely a challenging piece for young bands that includes energetic 8-note rhythms, driving percussion parts, and exploring putting emphasis on the typically beat beats of 2 and 4. The slow section of the piece explores dramatic and lyrical playing before alternately coming to a grand conclusion. Thank you so much for supporting us by coming to our spring concert. We hope you enjoy our last piece, Zigzag.
coming out to our concert this evening. It is so good to see a packed house here. I was telling the 6th grade concert the same thing. I listen to music all the time. In fact, I even am pretty confident I have next year's program, winter and spring, already figured out. I'm just listening to music all the time. I'm listening for what might work really well with this band, with the students that I have. What plays to their strengths? What might challenge them? And I found a piece, and I found another one. And I was like, ooh, this one's pretty good. And I found another one. I was like, yeah, why stop at 4? Let's do 5. Which is a lot of music. These students thought I was insane when I told them we were playing 5 pieces at the concert. And boy, did they rise to the challenge. Can we give them another round of applause? Thank you to the Palisades School District, the school board administration for supporting what we do here with music and the arts. It's so special what we're able to do, and none of this is possible without their support. Thank you to the school board, to administration. Parents, none of this is possible without you. Thank you so much for buying them reeds and valve oil and driving them to rehearsal and all of the things that you do. It would not be possible. Just getting this done now. Thank you to the parents that are chaperoning tomorrow and for attending the water park with us. That's going to be. It's going to be a blast no matter what. But thank you so much for everything that you do to support us. In the program, you see lots of summer band opportunities for your students to continue staying involved. You see ways for you to be involved. Please consider joining the band association and lending your support in whatever way that you can. This is a special concert for me because this 8th grade class was my first 6th grade class. So my first full group of middle schoolers. So it's been really special to see them grow from 6th grade to 7th grade and then to see what they're doing tonight. Can all of our 8th graders please stand and let's give them a huge round of applause. We have several awards that we give out to our 8th graders, many of which will be given out at 8th grade promotion, but we have 2 that we like to give out at the spring concert. If you hear your name for these 2 awards, please come up to receive that award. The award for Outstanding Performance in Jazz goes to an 8th grade student who is a member of the Palms Jazz Band and has demonstrated exceptional musicianship and leadership in the area of jazz. I've seen this person grow so much, rise to the challenge of learning a new style of music, and just be so excited about it. Congratulations, Michaela Riley. The Palms Band Spirit Award is presented to an 8th grade band member who has shown the highest levels of excitement, commitment, and passion for band. I never see this person without a smile on their face. Anytime I ask them to do anything, the enthusiasm to which they complete whatever task that is truly remarkable. It says a lot about their character. This person really shows everything that you want in a student. They're truly phenomenal, and I will miss them dearly when they go over to the high school. Congratulations, Allie Riley, on receiving the Palms Band Spirit Award. We've got one last piece for us this evening. Matthew's going to come up to read about Ancient Moon.
Hello, my name is Matthew, and the last piece of tonight's concert is Ancient Moon by Elliot Del Borgo. Ancient Moon is a standard in middle school band music. There are rich textures and many layers, muted trumpet, exciting percussion parts, and effective contrast between woodwind and brass lines over a lot of integer suspense and action. This piece also features some THS percussionists. Thank you to Helen, Lane, and Matthew for joining us. Additionally, there are 6 palm players being featured. Ava and I on flute, Ben and June on clarinet, and Gabby